Dieter and Hutch not currently embroiled in any federal investigations, it should be noted. We can make that, we can change that, though. We can. I mean, if we put our minds to it, I think we can definitely get indicted on a
Anything's
federal
possible.
cause. Jake, let's just jump right into it. We're breaking down 49ers and Texans in week 8. And how on earth do you score against Houston?
I don't know. That said, it's tough because you look at it and you're like, this defense is outrageous. And at the same time, I feel pretty confident about the Niners in this one, which I probably shouldn't. But
can you show your work on that? Because I'm a bit incredulous.
It's mostly just about how bad the Houston offensive line is and the fact that I can't take that element of them seriously whatsoever.
Well, right now, Houston is number 1 in EPA per play on defense. They're number 6th in success rate. They're number 2 in completion percentage against. And they're 13th in sack. So what stood out to me in watching the Texans defense, which is far and away the best unit that will be on the field on Sunday, is how multiple they are. They can throw anything at you because they have a secondary that is unparalleled in football, linebackers that are crazy, and a defensive line that with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, like they're really, really good, and they're not locked into one set way of playing football.
Yeah, it's important to mention that we've talked about it before, but their linebackers are willing to die out there.
They're incredible.
And some might argue they want to.
I mean, Azeez Al-Shaair is a walking suspension. He's not their best linebacker. Henry To'oTo'o is about as good as it gets. He is a madman. He is so fun to watch.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, you watch their whole defense. Even EJ Speed is their third linebacker, and you're like, that's a sick linebacking core. Obviously, D'Amico is going to prioritize that, but it's going to be tough to move the ball against them. And at the same time, I think the Niners having unlocked the run game a little bit, and we'll see. I mean, this is going to be an extremely difficult test. I don't necessarily know that the Texans defensive tackles are my favorite group in the league.
I'll give you that.
And I think
I
that
like
helps
Settle.
a little bit.
Settle's a good player.
Yeah.
Rankin still has some juice.
Agreed.
They have depth, but I don't know if it's terribly usable with Mario Edwards and Tommy Taugai. But I actually really like Settle's tape. I know that he's
he's a solid player.
He's been a little bit divisive. Anytime I hear his name, it's kind of in a negative tone. I didn't see that, but I just watched the last 2 games, and that was 2 wild games, by the way. That game against the Ravens.
Wild. This guy's wild.
and then that game against the Seahawks. I guess this is what happens when you have an unbelievable. I mean, this is like 2005 Bears level defense with a 2005 Bears level offense. That was the number 1 defense in the NFL and the 31st ranked offense. They still somehow made the playoffs at 11-5. I don't think we need to bury the lead anymore. This is functionally the worst offensive line I think I've ever seen at the NFL level, Jake.
They are, and they traded away a tackle because they were like, if we're going to be bad, at least let's go with the rookie Ursery, who's stiff as a board. It's I don't really have the right adjectives or the right verbs to describe what's happening. Cataclysmic is an understatement.
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
I think I can best describe what's happening with the Texans offensive line by just stating some facts, which is that Laken Tomlinson might have been the worst guard in the NFL last year for the Jets. Was he not with the Jets last year? Or was he with the Seahawks?
I think he was cut at some point. He was definitely with the Jets for a couple of years, and I just remember every Jets fan being like, this is the worst player we have.
So Laken Tomlinson was a good guard for the Niners. He leaves for the Jets. I believe he was with the Seahawks last year. So they it just slowly declined, as so many players do.
Pretty aggressive, pretty steeply declined with the Jets. But it's also, you have to evaluate everything with the Jets.
Suffice it to say, this was something that because we have a familiarity and a distant relationship with Laken Tomlinson, when you bring up the worst players in the NFL last year, his name came up quite a bit in conversations that I was having. And the Texans decided, let's start him. They revamped their entire offensive line, and part of the process of theoretically making their offensive line better was taking a guy who hasn't played good football in 5 years, who was arguably the worst starter in football last year, and just putting him at left guard. And I can't make the argument that he's not their best offensive lineman right now.
Yeah, it's a really brutally bad group. So you're like, I don't know that much about. Oh, Ed Ingram, no,
No,
no, he's getting just demolished. And you're like,
no.
Ursary, all right, he's a big rookie. Oh, woof, he like
It's 5
anything
bad reps for any
laterally,
good one. Yeah.
anything laterally, it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
we get it that if you're going to be, I think he's like 6'8", 6'9", 340.
Right.
There were a lot of questions about him. We talked about him a lot actually in draft shows because
yeah, he was a pretty divisive guy. Where you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, because he's so big and so powerful. There's like a power element to his game that.
And we're coming
Like,
off
he
the
could be a
Mekhi
wall.
Becton revolution where it's like you could put a 6'8" guy at guard, which is
Right.
because he had such poor movement ability. The expectation was you have to play him at guard. And then it's like, well, what the hell are we doing here with guard? Is he going to have the right pad level, all that? Very divisive prospect. I don't know. He's a rookie. He has plenty of opportunity and will continue to get reps to improve upon this. But when we talk about his inability to handle speed, I mean, simply he will not put a hand on someone if they are speed rushing. He won't be able to get there.
We talked about O lineman who look in pain. He looks like he's got like serious lower back tightness, and I'm not even saying he looks like he's injured. I'm just saying that's how he operates.
He's built
It's
different.
like
He looks like he's got a
he's
fuse
built
back.
different. Titus Howard's not good anymore.
Awful.
Really,
Titus Howard, I don't know if it was ever good, but you watch
it's
him.
a name. It's a name where in my head, I'm like, he was good at one point, right? But I have no proof of that.
I have no idea if Jake Andrews is good or not. All I know is that he is just constantly putting out fires. I mean, he might as well be Donald Glover walking into the room in Community, just being like, I brought pizza, and everything is on fire.
That sounds about right.
And by the way, Jake Andrews, not exactly a young player who has he's got a lot of wear and tear. He is my 2007 Honda CRV. Once a great car, super serviceable.
Is he the Andrews formerly of the Patriots?
Yeah, that one, which might just be what we need to talk about.
Yeah.
Nick Caserio, what is it you would say you do here? This is
drafts wide receivers.
This is I
like it. Wait, real
awful
quick.
roster.
I love how they went Iowa State. We kind of like both of these wide receivers, but we're not sure about either of them. So let's take both.
Remember when they gave, I believe it was Jalen Noel, a fully guaranteed second-round contract?
Oh, Jaden Higgins. And Jalen Noel. Yeah, I think they gave them both.
Whomever came first.
It was Higgins, and then it ruined the entire
just ruined second round for everybody. Yeah. Just did that on principle. They don't even play him. They gave him.
I know he's on my fantasy team.
And legitimately, when you say the Texans gave him a fully guaranteed deal as a second rounder, you're thinking, wow, they got big plans for this guy. No, they just did it for the bit.
Yeah, they're just having Xavier Hutchinson over him.
We're going to see Braxton Berrios on Sunday. What are we doing? What are we doing with this roster? We bitch a lot about the Niners and how they built their roster this year. I much prefer the way the Niners did it to the way that the Texans did it, which is they have a Super Bowl caliber. It's not even that goes without saying. Whatever nice people say about the Denver Broncos, amplify that by 10 for the Texans. Their defense is so much better. This is unquestionably. I've been maintaining that the Seahawks can get there, or maybe in fact they would be there. If this team stays healthy, this is the defense. If they get a defensive tackle, I mean, this is the defense. They are.
You look at every level. You look at every single level, and you're like, I like what's happening here.
We didn't even talk about Stingley and Lassiter.
Yeah, Lassiter, who I fucking loved, coming out of Georgia, who everybody freaked out because he had like a bad 40, and then it's like, oh no, he's just actually still a really good corner. He really knows how to play football.
Petrie, Bullock, Stewart, Jalen Reed. You got to be specific about your reads at safety. Jalen Reed, like their secondary is the best in the NFL. Their linebackers are the best in the NFL as a collective.
Yeah.
Come on. They're awesome. They're awesome. And they're little, and they'll stack 4 of them behind the line, and they'll go 40 stack.
I was not prepared for the speed that Henry To'oTo'o moves at.
He is 5 steps ahead.
Yeah, he's not quite Mustafa speed, but like the decisiveness is like the same. It's like, I'm going.
It is awesome to watch. And their defensive line, they have an elite pass rusher, a really good second option, and serviceable guys in the middle. Don't let this team get a good defensive tackle.
I think Danielle Hunter's probably been the most underrated defensive end of the last like 5 or 6 years.
For sure. No, yeah, absolutely. I think the real ones know that Danielle Hunter is.
I mean, he's like a crazy build too. It's hard to like.
He's really good against the run.
And Will Anderson is like everything he was sort of billed to be. Also, Dylan Horton is like kind of a.
Don't be throwing Dylan Horton at me because I got excited.
TCU legend.
He's good. Anderson does this weird thing too. They stand him up, even though they'll put him at the 9 because they're running the wide 9. Sometimes they go 5 and they'll throw in a nose guard, but it's wide 9 almost exclusively, and they do this cool thing. And a couple of teams I've seen do this, but they're 3-4 teams. They do this as a 4-3 team where Anderson kind of gets a running start.
Oh,
they'll back him up and then start running. Dear God, how would you like to be Colton McKivitz or even Trent Williams?
He's doing dash motion.
Exactly. This is not a spirit motion. This is dash. There is purpose. He's going for it. I fear for the life of whatever quarterback plays, which is probably Mac. I hope that he got the rest and recuperation that he needs.
Oh, he didn't?
Well, luckily he didn't have to do all that much on Sunday night.
Yeah.
I hope that sort of lighter game can turn into something positive because my boy is going to be under siege. And that's even if the offensive line plays well, because they're just going to throw Hunter at Trent relentlessly because Hunter can throw the power at him. And McKivitz, who has some problems with speed rush on the outside, as many tackles do, is just going to get a steady diet of Will Anderson running into the snap. Oh my God.
It's going to be interesting because they like really do have to replicate the run game a little bit to just say, all right, we need to take the defensive ends out of the play, almost exhaust them. I think it's going to be a field goal game for either team. It's like, it's going to be
as in only one team is going to score and they're going to have one field goal.
Maybe.
I mean, I literally wrote that my initial prediction was 2-0.
I like that.
That's kind of where I'm at. We're getting the safety. We're getting the safety, Jake.
It's tough because like last week, you have an Atlanta defense that's like functionally set up similarly to the Niners and the Texans, but like as much as they've been made out to be the number one defense, like they don't have anywhere near the same pieces. No. They have some good pieces, but it's not there, and especially without Jalen Walker, like to know what exactly they are.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that enough. I think Walker really did give them another level that they could operate at, and without him, they couldn't do any of their 5-man front stuff.
Yeah, and I go back and they lost Diablo, who I was not a huge fan of, but like it's still losing a linebacker. Number 40 was good for them. I forget his name.
Yeah,
but Ellis sort of got moved around. And I think with this team, you're going to see D'Amico sharp. Like D'Amico's he's going to be like, all right, we have to prepare for gap stuff. We have to be, and all those guys, Aziz is going to be out of his mind. Aziz is going to be as fired up as, if you can believe it, you know, he's going to be.
He'll find another level of insane.
Yeah, I think this is going to be as fired up as you'll ever see him. And there's just going to be a level of physicality that will blow up a number of plays. Like that alone from the linebacking core is going to make it hard to run the ball. That said, I think that aggression, the Niners can exploit that a little bit if they can get. I'm not talking about big chunk plays like they had last week. I'm talking about get 7-yard runs, get 5-yard runs to at least control the tempo, keep your offense on the field, wear on them a little bit, and just get in field goal range.
My concern is that a lot of this, they ran it inside a lot. That is really asking a lot of this offensive line because these guys, the linebackers, are unbelievable gap shooters. They're ahead. If you are a half step late, you're a mile off on an offensive line, pull, zone, whatever. They're just really, really hard to get hands on. And if you wanted to say, okay, so that's just the inside. That's the problem with going inside. And they'll stack, again, 4 linebackers behind 4 defensive linemen and say, what are you going to do? Throw it over the top on us? We have Stingley and Lassiter with Petrie and Bullock behind it. Like we'll play cover 0. I mean, they play a lot of cover 1, but they're like, we'll play cover 0 the entire game. What are you going to do about it? And the answer is nothing. Not this team. They're not doing a thing about that. So you do have to now scheme guys open. And I don't know if the inside runs are going to be there. My concern is also that the pin pull stuff that actually started to show a little bit now that you were, getting a little bit of movement on the inside, that is not going to be there either because these linebackers are so laterally fast. Their spillage,
right?
Like it really is just going to put more stress on this offense than they've had to face so far. And they haven't done very well under decent amounts of stress.
Yeah, the level of speed and aggression that this defense plays at is just like you really have to rely on guys to make tough blocks in space.
Yeah,
kind of
a lot of
throughout
reach
the course
blocks,
of the game.
a lot of get out there blocks. Yeah,
and it's something where it's like if you go off of last week's tape, it's like okay, sure, yeah, they're capable of that. If you go off the tape for the rest of the year, I don't know, but I think Kittle being back is a major factor. I mean, I broke down Luke Farrell's grade because I was like, was Luke Farrell? Luke Farrell's really goddamn good. Like this was clearly the best game I've seen from him. And if you get that, if you get Juice and you get Kittle sort of going with heavier personnel and you run some of that, like again, it's tough because I have no way to like refute that this defense is dominant, right? That this defense can sort of. I guess
they fuck up too. Yeah, I mean, like.
Right, but
but as Whitpitt points out, they've given up 88 points this year. Total. It's week 8. They've given up 88 points. I mean, this is above and beyond.
Yeah, and I think it's something where you count on your own defense. I think without Bryce Huff will be interesting because like Huff's speed in this game would just be. I will say Sam O has done a really damn good job the last couple weeks. He had like one horror game like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but like he was awesome. They got rid of Gibson, for Beal, which they've done that like 3 times. Like I do need someone in a press conference because I know it's stupid and I know no one will ask it, but I need someone to go, can you explain why you keep doing this? Like is it for special teams? Because and I'm sure you'll get a vague answer, but like
that's what we thought was best for the team.
Right.
I'm glad that your heart was in the right place. Can you explain the machinations of this? Because it doesn't make any sense. No, I think that there's probably some sort of like lease deal that they have where they have to move guys in and out.
They promised them both that they would split snaps this season. And
they've done that before where they're like, oh, no, we'll promise you to promote you from the practice squad like 3 times. And that's how we get them on the practice squad. And then it turns out that, you maybe can only do it twice. So then you cut somebody and promote it. Yeah. It's a lot. I can ask. I'm happy to ask. But
without Huff, it's like they're still gonna have wins. Like Elliott's coming off a great game. I think Michael in the run game is going to be a nightmare for them to deal with. I don't know. Like they might throw a lot at Michael's way. In terms of pass protection, I don't think it'll matter because they're a mess. But like, I think in the run game, he's just going to destroy them.
I would feel so much better about this game from the Niners' perspective if they had a pass rush. If they had, I don't think they're going to play him on Sunday, Jake.
Yeah, I'm not sure they will.
I think the Stone Blanton practice squad thing is a canary in a coal mine for the Nick Martin experience. Where he is effectively going to be replaced in his very limited role.
I mean,
by an undrafted
you could do what they do with like Gifford, where Gifford's just an extra end, but instead you sort of no. I'm not saying that because you don't want him to play contain. I'm saying you basically stunt him inside as a pass rusher on all of those, and he's not actually playing edge. He's just blitzing.
How many times can you get away with that before?
3 times.
That's the exact number I had. It was the over under was 2.5. You get 2 of them, and then the third time, it fooled me once. Shame on you.
Yeah, but you
Fooled me
might get a
twice.
turnover off one of them, and you also might allow 70-yard play on one of them.
Well, in this game, I can't say that he wouldn't be able to do something against a competent offensive line. He might get stonewalled on the interior, and then it's. I don't think that a pick 75 should be relegated to just the point of bit player on a trick play, which is a modicum of a trick. But I guess that is a role, which is more than I can say he has currently.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I really feel bad, but it is just such draft malpractice. He didn't ask to get drafted 75, but the Niners are paying the price. You don't think that they want that one back? My goodness. If the Niners had a pass rush, though, like legitimately, outside of the Nick Martin galaxy brain that we're having to do here, if I felt like they could get to the quarterback at like a league average rate, I'd kind of be in on them to win, because I'm pretty sure that Kyle can find ways to move the ball and get like 14 points on the board. Like, I feel like he can do that. And if you have a pass rush, the Texans are liable to not score at all, because Stroud they can't even run plays. That offensive line is so bad. That's what stood out to me. I think Stroud's doing awesome.
is coming off a concussion. You might not have Nico Collins.
Probably not going to have Christian Kirk.
What are these teams? What are we doing?
That was the question. That is the question. The question is, what are these teams? The Niners are kind of fine at everything, and you never know what's going to show up. And the Texans are unbelievable at one thing and completely non-functional on the other side, despite having perhaps a $70 million a year quarterback.
Yeah, I do think the Niners, even losing Huff, will be able to get to Stroud a few times. Like, I do think I do. Like,
okay.
I know it's like mix and match, but Salah's dialed up some really smart pressures.
Yeah.
They've gotten sometimes they take a little too long with the stunts, but like Sam O's done a really good job. Once a game, he wins with a spin move. I like Mikel.
I like
generally
Mikel
in this
too,
game.
but they can't run against bad defensive lines. Like, it's nice that the Niners, I feel like, are going to be solid against the run. Like, you don't need that. What you need is a bunch of war daddies who can get into the backfield snap after snap. And even against this offensive line, like, there has to be some threshold of talent that
yeah.
And it's okay if you think they're over it. I'm just not sold on that, because they're down to their 5th and 6th string defensive ends in effect.
I agree. No, I think it's a major concern, but I do think the blitzes Salah has dialed up, some of the stunts, just to get guys isolated one-on-one. I think Alfred Collins is really hit or miss, but like, I do think this is a game that, like, his size and strength, where he can get going a little bit. But again, it's a lot of question marks with either team. I just think even threadbare, I like the Niners D-line against this Houston offensive line. And that's not to say that they're going to produce anywhere near the level they did last week. But I do like how Samo and Mikel have been playing, which is to say you're down to Samo and Mikel is your only real edge players.
I mean, I think that they're going to be giving Robert Beal 10 to 15 snaps in this game.
You have to.
Off the end. And again, if they had, Huff would have had 4 sacks in this game.
Yeah.
Because every time you would line him up against Ursery, it would be over. And I'm not even sure. He gets into the backfield so fast that it wouldn't have mattered what Stroud did. Like, there is no offense that can save you from that problem.
There's an argument. There's an argument that you should just rush 5 every play.
Yeah, go to a 5-2 front.
And just say, you guys aren't going to handle these protections well. One of us is going to get home every play, and Stroud's going to start getting crushed and pain. I'm not saying that's the way to go. I'm saying it's an interesting case, and I'm curious, like, what Saleh thinks is the right way to attack them. If he thinks, let's just stick with 4, even if they do the thing where they've dropped a lot in coverage. They peeled off the DNs like 5 or 6 times. I think even looks like that, where it's unbalanced and you just give them a different look, they're going to be thrown off.
Well, I'll say this. Houston can't run the ball. So I'm not too concerned about what you're sacrificing there. And if they don't have Collins, they don't have anyone who can separate. What's Tucker want?
Caroline's, she's back with her laundry.
Oh,
He
gotcha.
he forgot. He was deep asleep and he got very confused. He forgot
Got
where he
it.
was.
So when I look at this and I just go like, man, they could have a very easy game, this 49ers defense. They really could. Because again, no receivers that separate. I guess the Niners can kind of do the exact same defense that Houston does, which is, yeah, we're coming. What are you going to do
Yeah.
about it? Even without that kind of secondary. I
Yeah.
mean, just because
No,
these
I'm with you. I'm
receivers
with
are
you.
kind
I
of
do
butt.
think if I'm the Texans, I'm going like, hey, Dalton Schultz, run like a quick out like 17 times in this game.
Dalton Schultz fantasy, like half PPR, full PPR, could not be a better play. Couldn't be a better play
Yeah.
because they're going to have to throw hot. If they do even a modicum of what you've suggested, Jake, they're going to have to throw hot. They are a Kubiak offense, literally.
Yeah.
Well, no, who's the coordinator now? Who's the offensive coordinator now?
I completely forgot because you threw the
It's
Kubiak
Nick
at me.
Caley. Sorry, it's Nick Caley. He's from the Rams. So the answer's in the play. And listen, there's a lot of things when you watch them you want to like with the Houston offense.
Right.
Like I want to like Woody Marks. I think they want to like Woody.
I do
Marks.
like Woody Marks. I was not high, but I liked him in the draft.
Yeah, and I think that when he gets out into open space, you can really see it. The problem is that their offensive line coach is committing crimes against football right now. And I'm not sure if Woody Marks is failing consistently in pass pro or if
Right.
their offensive line doesn't know the protections, but somebody is off on every
Their
single
line
route.
coach was a guy who worked for Belichick, who during COVID discernibly didn't want to get the vax, and so that was the end of his New England tenure. And then he went to coach like high school, and then went to Troy. And then the Texans are like, be our run game coordinator and offensive line coach.
And notably, their offensive line has sucked ever since he showed up.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard anything about this.
He Nick Rolovic'd his career, which fine. You have your personal principles. That's the way you want to do it. Go to town. Consequences are the consequences. He knew that going in. But this is a guy who got plucked out of obscurity, worked with Belichick in the late stage, and the offensive line sucked in 2019 when he got control of it for the Patriots. Doesn't come back for 2020, and then goes to Troy, gets under John Summerall, who's a very, very good coach, now currently the head coach at Tulane. He'll have an SEC job by the end of the year, who's like, man, this is a coup. I got an NFL offensive line coach just hanging around. But problem, John, is you got the worst NFL offensive line coach. There are nepotism hires in the league that do a better job than this guy. It took me, and I started counting because I had heard tell of how bad this offensive line was. And I thought, okay, well, it's probably just not good players, right? Because Laken Tomlinson and here's Ursery, who, again, has a lot of time. Right. But, I just figured there was just dudes, kind of like the Niners, just getting beat relentlessly and consistently. I counted. It took 14 plays of all 22 for me to be like, who the hell is this offensive line coach? Because they don't know the play, and they're going to get C.J. Stroud killed. They're going to get him killed. I say that just only slightly hyperbolically because I legitimately fear for C.J. Stroud's life. And if I were C.J. Stroud, I would make it a condition of any new deal that I sign that guy's got to be fired. Or I would say I'm never signing with you again and start staging your holdout tomorrow because this is malpractice. Because he's a good quarterback and it's still there. It's still there.
I do want to take a relevant comment here. The big offseason story that Stroud was going to be allowed to set his own protections.
He's not doing a very good job then.
If he is, he's not doing a good job. And also I see some reps where even if the protection's right, these guys just suck.
Yes.
They're good. Even if you set the right protection, you still have to win. You still have to hold up. And there's a lot of times that's not happening. And then the rest of the scheme has to work, which I just hate everything about the way their offense is functioning, in air quotes.
I would say this. They're at the end of this season, when they have 5 wins, there are going to be people who say that they need to fire D'Amico, and there are going to be people who think that C.J. Stroud sucks. And those two things, and listen, I have no personal allegiance to D'Amico. I think that he's probably in over his head overall because it is the head coach's responsibility to hire people for the offense, and these are the people he's hired.
He
And
has not done a good job.
the offense is abysmal, even and with this quarterback. So he's part of the problem. So I'll at least hear that.
He's like kind of trying to do the Mike Tomlin thing of like, hey, our defense is just going to be good enough, and we're gonna.
Yeah, and that can work up until the point you have to pay Stroud, and then maybe you need to build the team around your $70 million.
I really like CJ Stroud. It's just it seems like he's just under so much goddamn pressure. And he lost faith in everything he does.
I came away watching those games being like, wow, CJ Stroud is so good. Like, that was my main takeaway of the Texans, where it's like CJ Stroud is unquestionably an elite player. And this has big Matt Stafford and Detroit energy.
Yeah, it's a great comp.
And I remember vividly, and I will forever remember the people in the media who came after me on this. I'm like, oh, Matt Stafford is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. This is when the Niners and the Rams were going for him.
Right.
And we were just off of the Jimmy Garoppolo debacle, where I made a name for myself, perhaps infamously, of being like, no, he's a bad quarterback. Like, you guys don't see that he's a bad quarterback. Of course, now that's just common knowledge. But in the moment, I was, I felt like the country of Australia was after me again. And so when the Stafford thing comes up, I'm like, I don't think you guys get it. Like, he's a really good quarterback. He's just playing for the Lions. And the counter argument, and I'll remember everybody who said this to me, was, well, he didn't win any games. Why would we want him? It's like, because I guess you're an idiot. Like, I just don't. I'm glad that, honestly, we're kind of beyond that. Not even with the Niners, like in football. Like, I feel like we've gotten smarter about this stuff. CJ Stroud is absolutely in the Stafford zone right now. Anything that he does successfully is a modern miracle, and he just does miracles like 15 times a game.
Yeah, I've never seen anything for his life every snap. It's tough. It's tough because you're like, what is like the future of the Texans? Like, it's a very strange team where in some ways they're set up incredibly well.
Yeah.
But then you're going to get into the thing of this offseason. Okay, is this the offseason you extend Stroud or do you try and hold off? And then do you just throw money at offensive line, which never really truly works because offensive linemen, as they age and hit free agency, just sort of fall apart? What's your plan there? Offensive line sort of has to be built up over years, and you need to get an identity. I think what you do is you throw a bag at any even mediocre to above average offensive line coach that has just done it for a while in the league. Someone who has a base level of competency, who's familiar with the scheme you want to run. You throw a little bit of money at like athletic, physically capable, cogent interior offensive linemen, and you draft offensive linemen. You see where that gets you.
I would go get Connor Riley, the offensive line coach for the Cowboys, and make him your offensive coordinator, because that's what the Cowboys did this past year. They took Clayton Adams from the Cardinals, and you can see what the Cardinals.
The Cowboys offense looks a lot better without.
Well, I'll say this: how about the Cowboys actually being like a competently coached team?
Crazy. It's kind of nuts.
It's not that crazy.
I am not a shoddy fan, and they've done a good job.
I think he's a good head coach. I think that his issue is that he wasn't very creative, and that he was maybe a little bit.
That's a good take.
Too ironclad, but that's not his job anymore. His job is to be organized and disciplined.
He's like, I've wanted to be a middle manager my whole life.
And that's exactly what he is. And he's really good at it. There are some people who are cut out. The Peter principle is that you will rise to your point of incompetence. And ironically, offensive coordinator, lesser than head coach, right? Like, offensive coordinator was too bespoke a job for sort of a jack of all trades.
Like, it's a job you really got to do. It's not just managing stuff.
Yeah, you're the one. You're the one doing all the grunt work.
A head coach in 17 different ways. There's so many ways you can do it.
Right.
But like, there's the way he's set it up. Seems like he's like, all right, you guys do your thing, and I'll make sure everything's running smooth.
So I would go get Clayton Adams' right-hand man, who's Connor Riley of the Cowboys, and I would say, you're our head coach now. Or sorry, maybe at some point, maybe interim, but you're our offensive coordinator now. And
who's to say they don't just steal Clayton Adams as their head coach?
It's not a bad take, to be honest. There are not enough offensive line coaches as head coaches in the league. In fact, are there even any of them? To be fair, I'm pretty sure Mike Tice ruined this for everybody. Just full stop. Or Tony Soprano, yeah, well, that was his name. I was there in Miami, or Joe Philbin. Miami went through a couple of them now that I really think about it. Who else? Bill Callahan kind of ruined it for people. Trying to think of anybody else. Chat, this is where you could be really useful. Any other offensive line coaches as head coaches? Because otherwise I'm going to have to ask Google. Listen, it's just to say that we're about to see the singularly worst unit in the NFL on Sunday. And if the Niners at any point make them look competent, that's a wrap for the Niners in that game. That's where I stand.
Yeah, I know. I'm coming off of, I feel like I gave too much deference to the Falcons, and I wanted to change my pick right before we landed on them last week, and I stuck with it. And was wrong again. But I just come down to, like, I know that the Texans are fighting for their life, and this is going to be an incredibly difficult game for the Niners. I just, even with the limitations they have on both sides of the ball, I think they figured a little something out. They're going to go in with some confidence in the run game. They're going to feel like it's a similar scheme, and even with the amount of plays that will get blown up by talent, I think they will pop a few more than they had in prior weeks. That's going to make things a little bit easier. And I think even with the talent Texans have, they'll find ways. Shanahan's been finding ways against every scheme, against every personnel to, like, get something done. I know this is a unique challenge, but I do think they're going to be able to get in the red zone. I think if the Niners score like one touchdown, they might win. Like, that might be all they need. And then like 3 field goals. So,
yeah, I mean, I kind of want to stick with 3-0.
I'm going to say 16-10. The Niners win.
I'm going to go
or 16-9, maybe.
No, I think Houston does get a big one. I think that there's going to be a secondary breakdown, and they'll just Stroud's so good that he'll hit you for 70 once and then die.
I mean, yeah, the Niners secondary, we didn't even talk about their general breakdowns, but
well, I mean, let's talk. I mean, we can talk about it. Like, it's not good. It's not good, and I don't think mixing and matching your safeties on every series is helping.
Yeah, I don't think Jair was bad last week, but I don't think he's the answer. Yeah, I don't know. I would just, like, stick with Siegel and Mustafa. Like,
yes,
and see if that works and let them figure it out. And that way, at the end of the year, you have a young secondary pairing that you're like, this is our future. This is what this is. And it's like, Siegel's ball skills are a problem, but, like, and he's gotten beat a couple times. So, like, I completely get them making a switch there. I just think I would prefer to see that.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're not doing that. Why they're not. I guess they want to expunge all the possibility out of Brown. Okay, not sure why Jason Pinnock has to play then. Like, if he's the best option, you can come back to him later. Like, he's Jason Pinnock. He'll be around.
Right.
And I think you need to see with Siegel. Now, it is not an easy thing to get a good read on when you have no pass rush and you don't have Fred Warner and you probably don't have Renardo Green and you might not have Diamador Lenore.
Right.
So good luck, boys. Have fun. Have fun with your NFL level. So, sorry, the Niners just sent out a text. Did you get this?
No, what'd they say?
They just wanted to remind everybody, and this might be a violation in and of itself. They want to remind everybody that tweeting or posting from the practice field is a violation of our media policy. Thanks.
Classic.
Who do you think was posting from the practice field?
I have no idea. I was too busy reading that Tiago Splitter is going to be the Blazers' interim coach, and I forgot about Tiago Splitter.
It's so funny. I noticed I was watching a preseason basketball game. They were playing the Warriors, to be fair, and I did see. I'm like, is that Tiago Splitter?
Yeah,
who was, I believe, the head coach of the Brazilian national team. I think so. Pretty good. So,
good. What was your final score prediction again?
So there's a safety in this game. I'm trying to figure out who has it. So I'm going to go with 15-11 Niners.
15-11 is great. Wow. So we both picked the Niners. Everyone will be deeply upset. The Niners will lose, and
that's fine.
Great.
I don't give a damn if anyone's upset. Let's start asking some questions or answering some questions. We've been asking them nonstop.
PDX, this would be a great game for Michael to step up and get multiple sacks. It
Wouldn't
surely
it ever?
would.
Yep.
The Texans have only given up 88 points and are 2-4. 88 points is just a hilarious number.
It's a stunning number. Remember when the Dolphins scored 70 in a game? That was fairly recent, and now everyone's
very
getting
recently.
fired.
Man, it's sad to see what happened to Tua. He really should have just stopped playing football and let everybody move on.
Hear me out.
Remember how he wouldn't wear the fucking concussion? Sorry, you're not going to wear the thing on your head because it's like a little heavy.
I have to be a leader who calls out my.
Because it feels like a little heavy, and every other player who wears it say they can't feel it.
Yeah, well, he has a very sensitive head. What do you want me to tell you? Just hear me out though. D'Amico Ryans, Mike McDaniel, co-head coaches.
I love that.
So, somewhere along the line, make it happen.
Him to the Texans makes too much sense next year.
Full democracy. This is it. None of this
communism. Why not?
Sure.
Every coach has an equal role.
Houston, Texas, known for its socialist leanings.
That's right. Yeah, Benali pointing out how they just handled their offensive line, just drafting wide receivers and being like, hey, I guess this is a problem. But
if Collins cannot play, their offense stands very little chance of moving the football outside of like Dalton Schultz dump offs. It is every fiber of my being says fade the Texans offense. But surely, because it's the NFL, it can't be that bad, right? And then you watch another snap, and you're like, "Oh no, it is
30 on the Niners, and the Niners are going to lose like 30-12."
If the Niners give up more than 2 touchdowns, it is a DEFCON 1 situation for them.
It's not good. Wouldn't be good. Griff, that Mustafa should be off a snap count this week, right? I would imagine so. I mean, he went from playing second and fourth quarter to second through fourth quarter. So theoretically, that's eliminating a quarter of being on the bench every week.
So that's such a dumb way of doing snap limitations too. Like, breaking it down by quarter instead of by series. Maybe it was just reverse engineered to where it turned out like the quarter. But
no, it wasn't. It was clearly he's going to play the second and fourth, and he's going to play start in the second.
I just hate that. Like,
and coming out in the third is like, I don't know. That's kind of strange. Last one. When is Pearsall coming back? Great question.
I've told everybody this a dozen times now. I know what a knee drain looks like. That dude's knee got drained. Okay,
that's speculation.
It is
clear.
It is observation.
I'm thinking him. And maybe also Brock, November 16th, Cardinals, because you go to the Giants' turf, maybe not an ideal situation for anybody.
You don't say.
And then you play the Rams at home. So you could do that. You could have them come back against the Rams, maybe November 9th. Sorry, November 9th was the initial game. I don't know why I said 16th.
Yeah, well, at least Cardinals have a grass field and a dome. They roll it out. When Pearsall returns to practice, it's on. They keep saying, oh, it wasn't the timeline. Again, this is just such a classic knee drain situation in the NBA. Like, it's better when it's better. They don't know. Joel Embiid has lived many years of his life in just sort of this, I don't know when it's better. It still has fluid in it. And when you bust your PCL via hard contact on the ground, that is a very... Again, covered the NBA for a long time. When do guys have situations where their knees go, but they need fluid? It's because they came down hard on their knee on the floor.
Yeah. I want to take one more. Wood pit. Giants have new turf. Apparently, they changed that old crap out. See, it's not about the turf. It's about the entire Meadowlands is haunted and a swamp, and so you either put grass in or it will just forever be tearing. And it's like the NFLPA rep was like talking about how it's, or what is it, whatever, Troy Vincent, or I don't know who it is at this point. I don't know that the NFLPA exists anymore, if we're being honest. But they were saying it's actually done well for players this year, and it's like, even if that's true, doesn't feel like that. And I can assure you, Kyle Shanahan's not going to feel good about anyone playing on that turf.
They've changed the turf in 2023. It has not stopped a disproportionate amount of knee injuries. I just searched Giants turf change. Okay. And it says 2023. Here's the ESPN article, all that. And then the next two things are Instagram from ESPN New York. MetLife Stadium's turf troubles. Time to make a change 3 weeks ago. Why MetLife Stadium turf keeps tearing ACLs from something called Tyler Webb Sports from 3 weeks ago. Like, obviously, these are all knee-jerk reactions. Sorry for the pun.
Oh man,
to the Malik Neighbors thing. But on October 4th, okay, I guess that was 3 weeks ago. Giants and Jets reportedly have no plans to replace MetLife Stadium turf. NFL executive
it's awesome
pushes back.
Like it's literally just the owners. You could just pay. You're so wealthy.
There is currently, and this was from September 28th, so I believe this was pre-Neighbors injury. No, just after Neighbors injury. There is a change.com petition to replace MetLife Stadium's turf with natural grass. Again, no reason whatsoever that they can't have natural grass in that stadium.
Yeah, literally zero reason. It's just also every European soccer team refuses to play on anything that's not grass. You've never seen a game.
Do you know where they're doing the World Cup final, Jake?
In the Meadowlands, yes.
Yeah, they're going to put a natural grass field on there. Just keep it. Yep. Just keep the natural grass field or glass. If you play on glass, that'd be really
insane. Benali. Oh, I'm very familiar with the fact that the Meadowlands are literally cursed, and there's an insane mall with like an indoor ski slope that they tried to make like an attraction park.
The American Spirit Mall,
something like that. And I don't think I ever went because we all went, "What the fuck is happening over there?"
The American Dream Mall. Yeah, they have multiple water parks.
Yeah, it's very the vibes there are weird.
They played an Arena Bowl in the American Dream Mall. You know
the American Dream Mall sounds haunted.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not a money laundering situation at all.
No, I'm sure it's fine. Anything else you want to hit before we
get out of here? You have to get a day pass to go to the mall.
Yeah, that's right.
It costs $109 to go to the mall.
And it didn't work as a business?
That's insane.
It's very strange.
It is 3 million square feet.
Yeah. It's very strange.
They have an indoor ski slope, though.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They have an indoor ski slope. That was the big attraction. And then they went, what are we going to just go up and down? And I don't know. Indoor ski slope didn't really
It was right next to the Izod Center. Remember the Izod Center?
That's where they have some tennis matches.
Continental Airlines Arena.
Believe me, I know. Continental Airlines, formerly United. I mean, formerly Continental. Anyway. All right, folks.
Wow,
you want to hit anything else?
No, just want to keep talking about this mall. Okay, question. Which do we see more of in this game? Texans touchdowns or carts bringing players off the field?
Oh God. I refuse to answer the question on the premise alone.
The answer is carts. I think this is a 2 or 3 cart game, and I think this is a 1 or 2 touchdown game. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll talk to you on Sunday.